Hello and welcome to your favorite show that features the brightest minds in Nigeria's creative industry. This is the Camera Lounge Season 2, brought to you by Camera Joints, Nigeria's #1 camera store. I'm Korede Olabanji, your host. You have a chance to win a SONY A7IV camera with a 28 to 70mm kit lens in the Camera Lounge Season 2. Here's all you have to do. Subscribe to the Camera Joint and Mabike Productions YouTube channels. Leave a comment describing what you learned from each episode. Mention a creative icon you'd like interviewed on the show. Camera Joint will announce a winner at a Raffle Draw Live event in June 2023. The Camera Lounge, powered by Camera Joint, supported by SONY A7IV Nigeria, and produced by Mabike Productions. Don't miss it. Welcome back. Now, after having interviewed quite a number of photographers on this show, The Camera Lounge, I get a sense that most photographers didn't start out wanting to be photographers. For them, it's been a journey of self-discovery and then rediscovery. Today we are sitting with a master of photography. Now, he's putting 20 years into this sector. And you know what? He's also a leader at heart because over the 20 years he has led quite a number of people. Now, what's enviable about him is not just the quality of the masterpieces that he has produced over the years, but also the quality of his clientele. For the first time on the Camera Lounge, please welcome with me Mr. Korede Olabanji, who is the name and the face behind the brand Photonymy. Please make him welcome. You're welcome,
Thank you very
sir.
much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Wow, 20 years.
Grace.
Next to that, you would put grace.
Yes, it's God's grace.
That's amazing.
Yes, it is.
It's such an enviable feat. The numbers, let's not even talk about the years. I want you to tell me, who is that person behind the brand that we have all come to know?
Anyway, thank you, Korede. I really appreciate this. Camera Joint, bravo. Thank you, Diola. My name is Korede Olabanji. It's been some years, and it's been God's grace, I tell you. But something peculiar about me is every juncture in my life, I've always had a lead to the next milestone. How God has always done that, I don't know, but I believe that is his pattern with me, right from when I was in school. Actually, I attended Korede State Polytechnic, and I remember, of course, I lost my father when I was 19, and I lost my mother when I was a baby. I've never met her. Wow. So I've been a full adult since I was 19. God has been good. So when I was in Poly, there was a lecturer in my life, Mr. Ario, who said, Korede, you see, there's so much discrepancy between HND guys and BSc. So ensure you get upper credit. So that became my goal. And God assisted me, I got upper credit. And as soon as I got, I said, sir, I got to say, yes. So the next thing for you now, I can. Talk to the pass, I can. And then you can measure with co-BSc holders. So I went to write ICANN, and again, I qualified. I qualified as an accountant in 1997. I was 27 years that time. You know, and From there, accounting firm, got to oil industry. Then I was doing this, concentrating on full accounting life, when a friend of mine, Bode, said, Korede, why don't you take to photography as a hobby? I said, really? Kilode? I never thought about photography before. But I'm one that I listen, and God knows I listen. So he always sent people that would make me do things because I listen. And but they didn't just ask me to do it. He sent me my first camera, Olympus. That was in 2001. And he made a statement. He said, Korede, I know you. 2 years too far. You have made you have taken a huge step into this photography thing. So I give you that. And it was not 2 years. So I was still doing my accounting in my life, in the oil industry I was in. And I mistakenly saw salary structure. And it was so epileptic that the person reporting to me was earning more than me. But you know, I came from an accounting firm. It was triple salary, so I was just celebrating until I saw that. But the way my life runs is this. Every time I saw a challenge, it doesn't weigh me down. I look deeper than the facial. So instead of it to beat me down, and that was a privately owned oil industry, so I couldn't fight. It's not my father's company. And it was not a federal environment I wanted to join union. I don't like unionism and all of that. So then my head of human resources, Mrs. Awani of blessed memory, said, Korede, see, you know, we can't just attend, we can't bring this to Chairman's attention. But this photo that you take us free of charge, you know, they're the best we have in archives. Why don't you do it commercially? I will introduce it to people that will pay. Again, another voice. And he did. My next housing allowance, that was in 2002, was 400,000. So my first camera that I bought was 402,000 naira.
First camera?
That was the first investment I made in 2002. So when I told Mr. Ani, I spent all my housing allowance on the camera. I said, eh? Then I will introduce it to people that will pay. And I tell you sincerely, the first 3 clients, I got my money back. Remember that I was in an industry, so the first level of my exposure were highly placed people. Then, you know, in those days, it was tough to come into photography because that was when many photographers were disappointing clients. That was the era of manual photography. That after your event, a photographer would just walk in, where are my pictures? I say, So you see how many people that didn't have memories of their events as a result of, what's it called now? Chemical burning inside
inside the lab.
Inside the lab. They don't call it lab now. In those days, it was something room, dark room.
Dark room.
And all of that. So that was actually what got me to thinking, okay, you know what, Mr. Oni said I should do this. But I now told myself, if I must venture into this, then I must know what professionals know. I wouldn't just say because I could afford a photo camera and because I knew to do it, I would just launch into it. I said I wanted to be able to understand when professionals speak in future. So for that reason, I knew there was a guy, Kunle, Dolphin Studios in Surulere at that time, and I approached him. I said, sir, I wanted you to teach me photography. He said, do you have a camera? I said, yes. So I went to the back of my car. I brought my camera, Canon 1N that time. When he saw it, even that studio didn't have it. He said that was their goal. I said, okay. So he gave me his camera to take his picture. He said he would review it. The following day I should come and listen to whether he wanted to take me on or not. And I used his camera to take him. I left. The following day, he said, you are better than me. He said, what I'm going to teach you, I will teach you what you don't know. I said, that's exactly why I'm here. So I took 3 weeks off work, and I was with Dolphin Studio. And I paid what he asked me for. You see, I have issues when you are planning, you're trying to learn what eventually land into your hand, your source of livelihood. and you cannot invest in learning. You know, people pick mentorship. You say, he's my mentor. You are learning, but you're not giving him anything. How can he ever teach you the in-depth of what you should know? I'm a vehement believer on, if this is the line you want to toe, then pay what it takes for you to be well cooked and baked for the market. And so Mr. Kunle taught me. So I decided to go into photography. But again, I chose events. Why? Because it's events that many photographers are disappointed people. So my first strategy, so I printed my card. And it was Korede Olabanji, ACA, which was a catch. So if I give you my card and I say, what's ACA? I said, sir, it's Associate Chartered Accountant. Are you an accountant? Please sit down. So please had to come in. So it was easy for me to charge. Then they were believing that if I was an accountant and I was taught integrity, I would not disappoint them. So that was how I got into photography, events precisely. I started in 2002. I was still working till 2007. So it was in 2007 I left to now pick photography fully. But I must tell you, before I left in 2007, I was already making my salary from photography, which was eventually reviewed as appropriate. Do you understand? So, and I was only doing photography weekends, not. So I told my wife, I said, Kemi, I want to resign because I'm making my salary from photography that I was only doing weekends. And she didn't believe me until I printed GTB account. Bank statement for the number of years I've been doing photography. Because the first thing is you want to go into business, just open an account for that business so that you don't mix it up. Do you understand? It will help you review the status of things and help you make better decisions.
Now, because I was going to come to that question of 5 years, because it was in 2002 that you began this journey.
Yeah.
You had a job in the oil and gas industry, but you didn't leave. Now, what was happening in those 5 years? Because money wasn't an issue. Because if it was for money, this story you've told us now, it's clear that livelihood wasn't a challenge.
No.
Now, so that was a 5-year transition period. Can you share with us what you were doing in those 5 years?
Okay, so I'll tell you this. Like I said, it was a privately owned oil company, indigenous but upstream. It was a leader in upstream indigenous oil production, crude oil precisely. So for that reason, it's not my father. And so that job must end one day. And I was not ready to put the life of my children in future to be determined by someone whose decisions is indeterminate. And then I was thinking, I said, his children are abroad. By the time his children grew up, they will come back and they could tell him that, sir, this one is too old. They'll just tell me to go home. So I was actually preparing for absolute independence to be able to decide what I want for my family. So that was what was going on. So it's for that also reason. Because the thing is, the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. If you begin to think that way, everything that will make this thing come to fruition will begin to fall in. All right? And I believe that was what happened when my friend had to say, do this. Yes, I had to say, do this. And I was following. Do you understand? But again, the reason why I didn't leave, like you said, it's not really money, but it was giving me fulfillment. And I remember something when I spoke to a doctor. He said I should run him through my day. And I said, oh, I get to work at 6, office till 4:30. I switch to my photography. I edit and all of that. I get home, I don't sleep until 12:01. I go to bed, I leave 4:30. And this doctor told me, he said, you can never be hypertensive. And I said, why, sir? He said, because what you do as your leisure is not what you do during the day. He said, so because you enjoy what you do after work, it gives you energy and it compensates for the boredom or for the stress you probably have accumulated during your work hours. Do you understand? So for me, I was having blast time, good time, no time to waste. I get home, I'm doing photo. Of course, I have my time for my family. In the morning, I'm at work, doing accounting and all of that. So it was good for my life.
Okay, I'm with my best friend. I'm sure you guys know already. My best friends are always the Sony cameras, and this is the A7R5, recently just dropped by Sony Alpha. It's a 60 megapixel camera, and you know my favorite thing about the Sony is the autofocus system. It has an improved autofocus recognition. You can actually save, you know, the subject's face on the camera, and then it follows through anywhere the subject goes through. Your focus is intact. You know, in terms of video, it has 8K at 24p, and then it shoots 4K at 60p. The videos are amazing. I call it a hybrid master because you can actually use it for photography and video at the same time. It shoots 10-bit 422 video options and also includes S-Log3 and Cinetone. It's a very easy way of shooting and getting your images ready for your client. And then in terms of raw files, because I know you're going to be saying it's a 60 megapixels, in terms of raw files, you can actually reduce it and have 26 megapixels and also have 15 megapixels. My best friend is the Sony A7IV. In terms of technology, it's a great camera. In terms of build quality, it's amazing. Ergonomics is amazing. The way, you know, the grip is, it's quite very sturdy and all. Sony camera is my best option. I don't know about you.
You said something at the beginning of your initial story, which was a friend out of the blue said, Korede, go and do photography. What did he see?
Okay, so Bode was in my house for 3 years with his wife. Before they relocated to US, then visa lottery, they won the visa lottery. And Grace gave it that. They were in my house and I told them not to pay anything and not to contribute anything because I had a good job. He didn't have much of a very good job and all of that. So for that 3 years, we never fought. For that 3 years, I never threatened them. That was in their words. So when they left, he then called, he said, Korede, I want to say thank you. And the way I want to say thank you to you, you never gave us stress. 3 years we lived in your house. It was a 3-bedroom flat. He said, the way I want to say thank you is to bring out in you what you have, but you didn't know you have. So I said to Bode, he prophesied me into photography. But don't look for Bode because he has not done to another. It's only me, and I'm blessed for it. So I don't know whatever he saw, but today I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful that God used Bode's voice to prophesy me into what I do today.
It's clear that you have a very strong work ethic. Yeah, that's true. It's clear that you have a very strong work ethic. Now, but you went into photography as a trained and experienced accountant. Can you talk to us about the value of education? Okay,
so very fantastic question. Many parents have brought their children to me that I remember a particular one say he didn't want to go to school anymore because he knew that many people were making it in photography, so he decided to come into photography. Then there's another one who just finished school, so he didn't want to work, just wanted to go into photography because many people were making it in photography. And so they brought these girls to me at different times. And I remember one, so I asked his parents to please excuse us, so they left us in my office, and I gave that guy my complimentary card. Then I become FCA. So on my card now, you see Korede Olabanji FCA. So I gave it to him. I said, so what can you say on that card? He said, your name, sir, then FCA. I said, what's FCA? He was thinking FCA could have been taken from photography, so he was trying to formulate whatever that meant. And I said, no, don't bother, that's fellow chartered accountant. He said, I said, so I asked you a question. If you and I are trying to pitch for a job, and you did yours, and I left my card and I walked away, who do you think, the governor or anybody who is well educated, or anybody in that kind of environment that you wish to get something from, who do you think they'll prefer? He said, sir, it is you. I said, so education is key. Let me tell you about this Nigeria. I've spent 20 years in this field. This is the best country any entrepreneur can make it, that I know. I've had unusual support from my clients. It's another story, which I may tell you later. But what I want to bring out now is this. Nigerians love to relate with educated people. And when they know, I've been to some houses that by the time they got to know that I'm an accountant, they call their daughter or their son. So do you know photonomy is a chartered accountant? The exam you are still struggling to pass. Already I got bravo. They will hear me, they will listen to me because they know where I'm coming from. And that's what I desire. Of course, it's not everybody that will be a chartered accountant, but the thing is, you must finish school. See, when they bring them here, I tell them straight, I went to school. So before you can decide to be a photographer or whatever it is, skill that you want to pick up, can you first get to the peak of your course in school? At least finish a good course. So that when you knock on some doors, they open. There are some doors that will not open for you except you went to school. So this is what education gets for you. It gives you respect. It accords you relational ability that people can relate with. When you knock, you are sure coming to the living room to sit. They won't tell you to sit by the car park.
When you left in 2007,
yeah,
that meant from the way your day was scheduled, it meant that you also then had a gap between 6 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. where there was nothing filling it. And I knew you had to fill it. So I want you to talk to us about how you hit the ground running, knowing full well that, hey, I've got work to do. How did you fill your time? How did you start?
Okay, so I must also let you know that I'm probably one of the very first photographers that went online. I went online, I set my website in 2003. So I was better exposed to foreign market than Nigerian market. So when I started, if I did 5 weddings, be sure 3 or 4 came from abroad. And my office then, they were not internet service, so they didn't know website, they never went. So they were seeing me online. So and I've never put up advert physically anywhere. So my office didn't suspect anything. So I was getting busy.
Would it have been conflict of interest?
Yes, of course. And let me also tell you this. The reason why I chose, or maybe let me put it this way. I believe one of the reasons I succeeded is because I never had conflict with my daily work. And let me also shock you. My first set of customers were my management staffs in the office. I cover my MD's daughter's wedding and his son's wedding as an accountant in his office. And I charged him, he paid me. Then deputy MD, all my management staff, I covered their children's wedding, even as an accountant in the office. And let me tell you how that works. So as soon as I decided to go into photography, 2 things. Number 1, I chose to be more submissive in the office. I chose to be more proactive because I didn't want my table to be found wanting when it comes to delivery. My MD would tell you, even after work, I just covered his 80th birthday in November. It's only me he talks to. My MD, and I'll be precise, Dr. Mashola, God bless that man forever. So I cover his daughter's wedding picture, son's wedding picture, Engineer Tacos, all his children's picture, weddings and all of that. What was different? I was not just excellent at work, I was also excellent in my hobby turned business. The first thing to pursue in any area of skill anybody chose to pick up, excellence. Be excellent. That's the first rule. Number 2, be excellent. Number 3, be excellent. Why? There's a space for every excellent mind in Stardom. No competition. Right. So whether how I kick the ball rolling or whatever it is, there was never even gap because I was already very busy. I was already struggling with my time. And I will never use office time for my personal business. No. So it is important that after excellence is when you now have strong courage to stand as an excellent person. You can't be courageous to speak if you're not excellent. So after being excellent, be courageous to stand. Number 3, relational ability, which must be strong. These are my values. I have 20 years of clients. And if I must quickly, just one example and I'll come back. So I left in 2007. I was in my house 2008. Then 2009, December, a client of mine sent me a message early morning. He said, God said I should take you to your dream.
Wow.
What do you want and what's your long-term dream? And I replied, I said, my short-term dream was to make my studio and printing lab on Lekki Expressway. How do you hope to achieve that, considering the cost of Lekki area? I said, I've been waiting on my payoff from my office. He said, which office? So I told her the office I was working with. And I said, that's another company now. Do they engage photographers? I said, no, ma. I'm actually a chartered accountant, actually a fellow chartered accountant, that photography was an hobby for me till I now left. She was shocked. And she said, God woke me up last night at 2 a.m. and he said, that photographer that works for you has integrity. Take him to his dream. He said, don't pity me. Ask me anything you want. And by the time I told her I was an accountant, I said, nope, drop this phone, come and see me in the office by 11. And I went to her office, and we're there. I said, repeated everything that she told me on phone. And I told her, I said, he said, you will pay this money back, but you pay it anytime it's convenient for you. But Masha know me, don't pity me, whatever you want, just ask me. And I said, okay, ma. I said, give me 3 days. It's okay, today is September 24. I'll be out of country October 1, whatever you wanted. I wanted to have cleared your account before she left town. Now, 2009 was not a digital year. You write a check, you submit it, it takes 3 days to clear. So it's no transfer. So she said, and that was what she said. I said, okay. She said, see me in this office 7:30 Monday morning. I said, nobody discusses outflows on Mondays. He said, you still don't get it that God has given her as a responsibility. I said, okay. So on Sunday, she sent me a text. She said, remember to factor in your working capital, knowing that you won't start making money from beginning and all of that being issue. I said, okay, ma. And I had put together 25 million budget. So
in
by
2009.
2009. And as I knocked, as I went to her office, secretary, I said, go in. She's already expecting you, 7:30 a.m. Monday morning. See, Korede, I've been blessed. And let me tell you one of the things I know. Whoever God has mandated to help your destiny, she will not rest, he will not rest until he has done it. And you don't need to struggle. And for me, when God is ready for you, he doesn't need your help because everything's already set. When he was ready for Joseph, he didn't need Joseph's help. And they had to make him prime minister. But Joseph kept manifesting his God-given talent even in prison. So the idea is this: do not ever lose your mind, even in the face of adversity in the journey to your breakthrough. Because if you lost your mind, a reprobate mind never recognizes blessings. So keep standing. Joseph kept standing. So I stood. And I entered her office and I said, so I was going to bring out a paper. He said, no, don't give me any paper. I'm also an accountant. Just shut the sock. And I said, 25 million. Will it be enough? I said, yes, but it will be enough. He said, no, you don't get it. God said I should take you to your dream. Without 25 million, take you to your dream. I said, it will not take me to my dream, but it will put me on the pathway to my dream. And she said, you have answers for everything. I said, because God lives in me. And she gave me the 25 million. So she sent me to somebody and all of that. So apparently she arranged a loan and all of that. So she said, my brother needs 25 million. Don't ask him for anything. Just give it to him. And I went and I was given the 25 million. While he was writing check, he said, you will pay this money anytime you like. No surcharge, no bank charge, nothing. Korede. He said, we will not come after you. But if you pay without us ever asking, whatever you want, we will always give you.
Okay.
Actually, it's a loan that she took from me.
Wow.
And I said, I said I would deliver and I will pay back in due course. No time span. Just free. I'm talking integrity. And God gave me grace. And she also made a statement. She said, God said you ought to have been making daily cash and not wait until you have events. You know, I was an event person. I never had studio. It was her mouth that said, God said you should start your studio December 1. So December 1 became my yardstick to start. 2.5 years, I was able to zero the 25 million. And she called me. That was when the court called her that she had paid up the loan. He then called. Where did you see money? I heard that you have zeroed the money. I said, yes, ma'am. I said, but auntie, I thought you said God said I had integrity. I said, if I'd disappointed you, would I not have disappointed the God that mandated you to help my life?
Come on now.
And she made a statement. She said, Korede, you are not the first I helped, but you are the only one that returned my money. Korede, I'm talking of a helper that has never been to my house. I'm talking of a helper that has only come to my studio once. This is my 14 years in this plaza. Said, don't put my name anywhere. There's still helper. There are helpers in this world, but it's your state of heart that will attract that which you want.
We'll take a break now. And when we come back, I'm sure you can't wait for us to even come back from this break. Don't go away. You have a chance to win a SONY A7IV camera with a 28-70mm kit lens in the Camera Lounge Season 2. Here's all you have to do. Subscribe to the Camera Joint and Mabike Productions YouTube channels. Leave a comment describing what you learned from each episode. Mention the creative icon you'd like interviewed on the show. Camera Joint will announce a winner at a Raffle Draw Live event in June 2023. The Camera Lounge, powered by Camera Joint, supported by Sony Alpha Nigeria and produced by Mabike Productions. Don't miss it. Welcome back. We have been speaking with the creative director and CEO of Photo Nimi, and it's been a blast from the first minute. Now let's come back to you, sir. You've done 20 years on this Lekki Ekpe corridor, and of course in Nigeria's creative industry, photography. Can you talk to me more about how you've seen people with potential fail? Because I also believe that help is available for everyone. But how do you meet help halfway?
Okay, so you asked two questions. How people have probably grew and failed, right?
People with potential.
Yeah. Okay, so let me attend to that first. Let me rather approach it this way. Many entrepreneurs don't handle their staff well. And your staff is the life of your business. All right, we spent 14 years now on Lekki Ekpe Expressway, 7 years pre my studio, right from my house. I was very popular, even right from my house, right? So this studio added and all of that, so people can see us and all of that. So I can tell you, Korede, I have 18 years old staff. I have 13 years old staff. I have 10 years old staff. And by His grace, 3 of my staff, they have built their houses and they live in them. Well, I have unusual grace, and that's why I keep saying I have grace. They can do anything for me. They are available for me to call any day, anytime, because of the way I lead them, because of the way I desire wellness for them, because of the way I desire they prosper, just like I desire for my children to succeed in life. I spend more of my time in the office than my house. So I cannot raise an anonymous office that will be adverse to my stable mind. So my staff are access to me. And the way I handle them, they fast and pray for us to grow. Let me put it that way. There was a time when I started, that guy that spent 18 years with me would just come in and say, I spoke to my pastor. He said you should do this. Or me don't suffer pastor. Why? Because of the way I compensate and love my staff. This place is family. And that is one failure that many have embraced. You should handle your staff as if they are your family members. I don't abuse my staff. I can shout, but never lead into abuse. I don't insult, no. Whatever I will not say to my children, I won't say to my staff. Do you understand what I mean? I wish above all things that you prosper, even as also prosperous. So you should desire same for your staff. So, having said that, so that I think is one of the reasons many systems fail. Because you are working with enemies that are causing you, even as you keep your job on. They are not happy. You're supposed to make your staff happy. Then the prayers from their hearts will come to you. It's a culture. I pay staff salary on the 1st of every month. If that 1st should be Sunday, I'll come to the office and I'll credit the account. Wherever I am on the planet, I hold my pin. They've never said, yes, I will. For possible now. Because what I desire. Then you know what? What I enjoyed, there was a time, I think it was last year, I just said, what did I use to enjoy when I was working? And I remember in those days when I was working, if any client just came, I said, take, that kind of money makes me happy. And I said, you know what, guys? So at a meeting, we do Monday meetings. I said, see, if I cannot remember any of you disobeyed me, or you insulted my expectation, or you didn't deliver, if none of you abuse each other, I can't remember any shouting in my office. Every Monday morning, I will give each of you a certain amount. Absolute tranquility in my office. Do you know what that means? Yeah. Whatever it is that they have done, weekend, finish their money, Monday morning, they know something is coming, which is enough for their transportation and for whatever it is. Why? They feel loved. Indirectly, what I've done is to increase their salaries. But you know, when money comes en bloc, it's not when it comes. So that en bloc, let it be in the account. But this small money, you plan with it. It makes you pray for your boss. Well, I'm not saying I recommend for everyone, but it's been working for me. So what's the second question?
What you have said now has diminished that second question. That's the truth.
Forgive me.
But here's what I'm going to say. Now, what you just said seems to be the bedrock on which your success is sitting.
One of them.
How did you acquire that culture? Because anyone who is listening to you, who appreciates your success, must not just do your activities or try to follow your skills. They must, live by that culture.
Yeah.
How did you acquire it? And what feeds it?
Okay, so, I told you before, as a man thinker is also easy, right? I'm trying to constrain myself not to give you many examples.
Please don't.
Because if I have too many examples that will astound you. And that's why I stand. I don't worship people. And I don't believe in being biased when it comes to delivery of excellence. I don't have packages for rich, packages for poor. No, I have just one package. You decide what you want in the package. Do you understand? Now, why did I say all of that? The way I think about myself is the way I think about my children, and that's also the way I think about my staff. Every time I pray, I say, God, make my staff achieve their goals in life. Of course, many have come and gone. That's not a problem. But you passed through me, and you didn't succeed. I should ask whether you're okay. Because I lead by example. And I also tell you this. So, few of my staff are married while they're working with me. And I remember one of them said to me, because I share my experiences with them at Monday meetings, and I remember one of them said, "Sir, you are the reason I've not divorced my wife." I said, eh? He said, because already averse to anything divorce. I said, I don't believe in anything. I told them, when you marry, just like I decided when I married, whatever cross, whatever challenge my wife, the one I went to market to buy, whatever challenge he brought to my life, I shall rock it for life. It shall become my cross. Korede, as soon as I made that decision, God now made all the challenges of my wife to be pomade for me. I'm 22 years in marriage. I'm 53 years old. I'm blessed. And maybe it's also the time to say this, which is actually away from. But see, you want to know secrets?
Yeah.
One of the secrets of my success is by His grace. It's a secret. You want to succeed as a married man? There's Orisha in your house. And Orisha is your wife. 1 Peter 3:7. He said, care for your wife, that your prayer may be answered unhindered. Orisha don't top adura. But also, let's take it to Yoruba before Bible. He said, Obìnrin Orisha akunlebo. When you care for that woman, doors that you never knew existed will begin to flung open. I've taught my staff. One of them said, Onita, since I've started following your pattern, I eat better food. My wife gives me better food now. You cannot maltreat your wife. So it's a secret to married men that wants to succeed in life. If you are going to pick a wife, there's a law. I take care of my wife. You can't see my wife and say it's a wife of a photographer. But today, my wife will tell you, before you know my name, my wife will say, I'm photo name is wife.
Come on now.
And many people have come and say, Uncle Gao, Yahweh, nobody can ever, you can never know. See, another prayer I made when I was going to leave accounting, I said, God, make it possible for me to achieve everything my mate and contemporaries achieve in life. It doesn't matter whether I work in the informal sector. Remember, informal sector have their challenges. People read this. I've been told by a server at wedding, I asked for Coca-Cola. And this guy said, get out of my way, it's not for photographers. And I took a bow. I didn't know a woman saw me. And I said, hey, what's the name? Is this how they treat you people? Well, that guy didn't know you're an accountant. Because I work for her company. And I said, sit down here. I said, you, come back here. I'm mandated him to go and get me everything I need. I've gone through all those nonsense. But let me also say this now. If you are in pursuit of your skill, what you love, and you cannot embrace insult, you got to do for another job. If in pursuit of your skill, and you're on the journey of your life to success, and you are not ready to smile when you are being abused or insulted, you have to probably look for another skill. I've been insulted, I keep smiling. It doesn't reduce me. But by the time they know who I am, they keep apologizing. Do you understand? So how I've been able to acquire the skills or the talent that made me deliver what I deliver is innate. It's the way I think. It's the way I value life. It's the way I value people. And let me tell you, it's however you present yourself that you'll be appreciated or embraced. So it's a reaction to your action. So how are you acting? That determines everything in life.
You have a chance to win a SONY A7IV camera with a 28-70mm kit lens in the Camera Lounge Season 2. Here's all you have to do. Subscribe to the Camera Joint and Mabike Productions YouTube channels. Leave a comment describing what you learned from each episode. Mention the creative icon you'd like interviewed on the show. Camera Joint will announce a winner at a Raffle Draw Live event in June 2023. The Camera Lounge, powered by Camera Joint, supported by Sony Alpha Nigeria and produced by Mabike Productions. Don't miss it.
Listening to you, it gives a sense that, look, this is not, that you are not practicing photography. You are practicing life.
Correct.
Because again,
You're right.
if anyone, no matter what they're
Yes.
doing, if they live by strong values,
Yes.
they will have these results.
Bagam.
So I need you to talk more about these things as they apply to photography or as they apply to creatives. For instance, you're an accountant, so let me zero in. Bookkeeping. Delivering on time. Value, I mean, you mentioned excellence. Updating one's skills. Can you make it clearer to us? Give us examples of, for instance, how you live on a daily basis.
Okay, so again, you got it right. I live life, and I have values for life. So there's this acronym philosophy that Singapore followed when they moved from third world to first. CANEI, CANEI, continuous and never-ending improvement. The first time I was in Dubai to cover a wedding, I saw a slogan written by the
prince,
by their king.
the king.
It said, as far as development is concerned, there's no end. For 3 days that I spent every night, I reminiscence on that.
Meditation.
As far as development is concerned, there is no end. I've never heard it that way. It's the same as continuous and never-ending improvement. But the way he wrote it jumped at me, because that is my life. You cannot get to peak of development. There's always something better to learn. I did a little of coaching when I was tired of life at some point, when I was getting tired. And let me also say this now. When you're getting tired of what you do, that's not when to lose your mind. It's for you to seek superior knowledge and acquire. So when it got to me, I was seeing so much vacuum. I went to do a little coaching with Larry Olushola Larry Consulting. After which, I went to EDC to do certificate in entrepreneurship leadership. Then my life go back. Then I continued. So seek knowledge as you grow in life. Business of photography. Of course, because I already know, but I never knew enough. So I went to EDC to learn more about how to manage my finance, about how to manage my system. Bookkeeping is key. Well, there's this software I use, Wave. Yeah, Wave. Someone set it up for me. So everything is documented. It makes my life easy. So I can decide on the numbers. So you can't isolate any area of professionalism in your business. And the thing is this, many of us, we choose to be where we are because we just think photography, enough inches, just low there. So you decided to just keep it there. Meanwhile, this is what your life will depend on. My children are in very good school. I won't say more than that. And it's difficult when people get to know that their father is a photographer. Full photographer. See, I once told you, one thing the Nigerian people love, especially parents and our clients, they love educated people. I'm blessed to be educated, and I bless God for life for my father. Right. Industry of photography, see, I've always said this, and right from beginning, anybody that knows me will tell you, I'm not in competition with anybody. I've never seen a photographer as my competitor. Why? Every excellent mind has their place in Stardom. Do you understand? I ask simple question to everybody I meet. Okay, so since you have been a photographer, Have you worked for everybody on your street? Sir, he said no. Many people on your street don't even know you're a photographer. So why are you competing? See, let me also make it difficult for you to understand, or easy. If you want to jump into your future, you don't go Google. Look inside your heart. That's where your future is. Because let me tell you, whatever you went to do on Google, by the time you are back, it's a plagiarism of whatever anybody has done. But when you look into your heart, it's novel. You come out with excellence. People love new things, not what to copy.
How do people grow in these things? You weren't a trained photographer. Somebody calls you and said, you should do photography. You accepted it.
And I went to be trained.
And you went to be trained.
And I've attended many courses. There was a time I was going to Germany every 2 years to attend Photokina. When I realized it was becoming kind of necessary. You don't follow trend. I don't follow trend. I don't know what trend is. The people that have money to pay, they are not on social media.
Please say it again.
The clients that have the money to pay, they are not on social media.
Money that will bless you.
Yes. We've covered many events, many weddings this year. And let me tell you, they are not on social media. The bride and groom, they are not on social media.
All right, so let's jump on that particular one. Now, everybody wants high-paying clients. I mean, you go to YouTube, say how to get high-paying clients. Now, for you, I know it has become a scientific process because you've done it back to back to back to back for 20 years. How does one get to that level?
Okay, so the first, you have to be excellent in what you do. Clients don't pay for mediocrity. Did you hear me? Did you hear what I said? Oh, lawyer, you have to be excellent first before they embrace you. Then for me, I'm on a continuous growth.
So first, be excellent.
Yes. Second,
continuous learning.
Which is better, excellent, excellent, more excellent, more excellent, more excellent, forever. See, photography is probably the most volatile industry I know. Why? Because the rate at which development hits this industry and they make nonsense your gadgets that you invested millions or thousands of dollars on. I once bought a printing machine, industrial printing machine. I bought it for 8 million naira, and 5 years down the line, the production company went out of that line. And eventually, I struggled to dismiss that or to take it off, to dispose it off. It was, when we brought it to this office, it was Crane that brought it up.
Crane?
Yes, Crane that brought it up and all of that. I struggled 2 years. It was just there, occupying space. Eventually, disposed it at 40,000 naira. Dolly. I have 2 cameras that I've used up and they are dead. They decided to die after good use, which I cannot fault. When I bought each of this camera, it was $5,000. Today, it's just best for, hey, it used to be D4.
Props.
It used to be D3S. When I bought, $5,000. We're in an industry that if you're not ready to continue to invest, you are out of relevance. And for you to stay in relevance is for you to continue to grow your mind and what to deliver. We're saying digital. Digital comes with associated costs. Now, we've moved from DSLR to mirrorless.
Mirrorless.
Are they cheap? And see, all these mirrorless cameras, they're not as strong as DSLR. So after some 2.5 of good use, better change it otherwise. You have to continue to grow in every area of your delivery. Then strong relation abilities to keep your clients. Some people will tell you, he knows how to keep clients. Our client won't feel it. that when their children are saying that they're looking for a young photographer, the parents are saying, if photonym is not here, we are not paying for that photographer. And it has happened both national and national and international. Why? Because God has blessed me to hold. And what is the secret? I'm excellent. You can't wave my job out. You can't dismiss that. You hear me. Do you understand? Then I know how to keep my customers. I know how to say thank you. And I said that is informed by humility. Good photographers. I'm sorry now. I hope that was not too much for me. Some photographers were too proud. Me, I don't know how to be proud because I'm not going to come in late. It's not possible. What has made me held these beautiful people in my life, this network that God has blessed me with, is an answer to a question which I ask many creatives every time I have an opportunity to speak. What do you deliver to your client after they have debited their account with your charge? What is the opinion of your client after you are done delivering their job? It's all they can remember about you. Oh, I paid him. What other values have you dropped behind beside giving them their photo books? The answer is the reason I'm still in business. I deliver beyond what they pay for. When I'm done delivering, they call to say, Korede Oshé, photo name, thank you. If creatives don't get that kind of call, you still have a long way to go. And what are the things? I've turned myself to a driver for a bride because somebody was going to disappoint her. Everything that will make my bride happy, ready to do. I'll also tell you this. So sometimes I covered an event for a very big man, and that was the third wedding I was covering in that house, by His grace. And so what we agreed was like what we did for the elder sister that wedded 2 years before. And so I always pay 80%. So he paid. But I now realized that the attendance for this wedding was not as robust as the previous. So I didn't need to do 2 volumes of photo books. I didn't call them. I decided to do 1 photo book because that was just appropriate. So that there's no tautology, there's no repetition, and all of that. So I sent the albums, and Alaji called me. Hey, Alaji, oh shit, thank you for photoing me. I just saw the pictures, fantastic as usual. Hey, I know I'm owing you 20% balance. So, just let me know the value of the 20% and send me the account to pay. I said, Alaji, no, sir. You are not owing me anymore because I didn't do what we're supposed to do because that event did not really, was not as robust to justify that. I said, so I did the lower package. So, sir, I'm the one to now give you money back. He said, He said, me understand. I said, sir, I decided to do a package that's lower than what we agreed because it was not necessary to do that one. So now, sir, I'll have to give you 90,000 naira balance. He still thought I was joking. I said, sir, just send me your account. When he sent me account and I credited him, Alaji now called me back. How will you not continue to grow when what I didn't even know about, you return? How many creatives do that? What many will have done is to readjust everything to ensure they still collect that balance. I didn't collect balance, I return money. Pure integrity is the only way to unusual breakthrough in life. Another one, when this man was going to be 60, this another person was going to be 60, I do everything for him. So his wife now said, this time, Oga, she's the one that will sort everybody, so she should not talk about it. And I said, okay, no problem, you can sort anybody for me, but let me tell you, it must be a photo name. Photo name is the only one that can smile. So this one now called me and said, your uncle is going to be 60. So, and I told her how much I charge. Sekilode, Kilenya, when photo name. So the woman got upset. Because if you ask me any question, I will answer. So whether he didn't meet you as expected, it's not my problem, but I will answer. You don't send me to my house. I will answer. But I will answer very politely. So she took offense. Then uncle now called me. What's been? Money, 10 years. Yum, because it's stammers a little. And I say, his wife was already upset that the way you told. I said, Uncle, what I did is it's one of the people I follow. He cares for his wife. And I said, Korede, you know what to do? Call her. Apologize to her. Agree to whatever she says she's paying. So you will now send me the difference. How do you walk yourself to that level in
someone's heart?
It's because over time, I've been consistent with my growth. Over time, I've been consistent with my relational abilities. See, a number of us are a little hypocritical, depending on who is in the game. That's what determines the way you throw yourself. And it shouldn't be. We should be same to everyone. Do you understand? Same embrace to everyone. And I tell you, if you follow this, likely that we may be on the same journey to breakthrough.
So we'll take a short break now. When we come back, we'll be seeing some of the pictures that Fotonimi himself has taken. Don't go away.
Okay, and with my best friend, I'm sure you guys know already, my best friends are always the Sony cameras, and this is the A7R5, recently just dropped by Sony Alpha. It's a 60 megapixel camera, and you know my favorite thing about the Sony is the autofocus system. It has an improved autofocus recognition. You can actually save, you know, the subject's face on the camera, and then it follows through anywhere the subject goes through. Your focus is intact. You know, in terms of video, it has 8K at 24p, and then it shoots 4K at 60p. The videos are amazing. I call it a hybrid master because you can actually use it for photography and video at the same time. It shoots 10-bit 422 video options and also includes S-Log3 and Cinetone. It's a very easy way of shooting and getting your images ready for your client. And then in terms of raw files, because I know you're going to be saying it's a 60 megapixels, in terms of raw files, you can actually reduce it and have 26 megapixels and also have 15 megapixels. My best friend is the Sony A7R5. In terms of technology, it's a great camera. In terms of build quality, it's amazing. Ergonomics is amazing. The way, you know, the grip is, it's quite very sturdy and all. Sony camera is my best option. I don't know about you.
Welcome back. So we want to take a look on this segment of the program at some of the fantastic images that Fotonimi has taken. Tell us about this picture. What led to this scenario?
Okay, so that's a couple. I met Wale about 7 years before this wedding, and I met him in Kaduna. He was a best man to a wedding I covered in Kaduna. Wale is not a photo guy, and I remember when we met, he said, Fotonimi, whenever I'm going to wed, you be my photographer. And Wale contacted me 7 years after, and I was the photographer. So this wedding held at Breadfruit, Anglican Church, Breadfruit in Lagos Island.
I see.
So as we left, we were driving to the reception. I just saw this environment inside the market. And I told my colleague in the car with me, I said, Balaji, I love what I'm seeing. He said, sir, you tell them to stop now. They will listen to you. And let me also tell you, when your clients trust you, that you won't waste their time, they will listen to anything you wanted. So I just called him up. Wale, stop this car. Tell the driver to stop. He said, what are you doing? I said, we want to take a picture here. He said, oh yeah. And that was it. We didn't spend 3 minutes. We got what I wanted and I left. I don't waste my client's time. I knew what I wanted. So that's why this image remains forever in my heart. Why? Because of the scenario. You don't take models and you will not pay. That was their wedding day. Wale and Tom, fantastic couple. And that is actually what they have in their house.
Wow.
That's my wife. That's my Oluwakemi Aduni.
Wow.
Of 22 years.
You went all out on this one.
Yes, and that was during COVID, actually. I was 50 6 months before hers, and when I did mine, life was good. So by the time she turned 50 6 months after mine, life was shut down, and I was happy. I told her, take care of me, I will not spend money on your party. But I made a decision to do what I'd never done for anybody on earth. I decided. I said, Kemi, I'm going to do photo shoot for you like I've never done for anybody in this world. And after I made that decision, I started looking. I was the one that looked for
the location.
This photo was taken at my studio. We didn't go nowhere. It was at the studio.
Wow.
You know, and I looked for the costume, got Oyinda Popu to make the dress and all of that. I used 2 days for her shoot. But again, I fasted and prayed about her shoot. And I told God, she didn't know about my fasting, she didn't know about my prayer. I even woke up at night to pray. And what was the prayer? God, by the time I was done with my wife's shoot, let it launch another line of business for photonomy. See, Kade, I've told you this many times. It's your heart that determines your future, not competition, not Google. How things come to you, just execute. That's it. So I thought, I didn't share with her. And I fasted, I prayed and all of that. So when I was done with this shoot, and every vendor I used, the makeup artist, the hair guy, I called all of them. How much do you charge? There's somebody coming to my studio. I didn't tell them that my wife was the character. And say, someone trusted me, so how much? Send your account. I'd settled all of them. Because I have another philosophy in life. I would never take for granted your source of livelihood, no matter the relationship I have with you. Because David said he will never give God what does not cost him anything. So I'm not one that because you respect me, and I know this is what you do for life, like yeah, I will pay. So I'd paid all of them. It was when they go and say, sir, it's your wife. I said, so? Nibo, really, you don't know my account, so you cannot return. So I did this shoot, and we're done. We used 2 days. This for this particular day, then she removed, then we did one from my local and all of that, my Donre attire. When I posted this shot, the third comment on my page, Uncle, I say Holy Spirit involvement in this shoot. I said, really, because that was exacting. Kaude, I say boldly, this shot launched Photonimi Studio on another platform, on another level. Then we now started doing photo shoot, 50, 50, 50. So in 2020, 2021, even to date, we've had so many people that came from abroad to do photo shoots here. They lodge around, after which they went back to London, they went back to US, I'm telling you, and some of them, they even come with this photo. He said, I saw this photo. I said, that's one. Oh, really? Yes. Not many people read stories, but many people also read stories. So this image that my wife is so beautifully exhibited launched Photonimi Studio on another level of portraiture. Till today, it's still happening. That's why forever, this picture, I will continue to remember the reason I shot it. This shot, I love. Now, note, every event we cover, we always have 1 or 2 images that will be different and peculiar. And I say to people, even if you had the same decor, so far there are 2 different events, it cannot be the same. The lights do not shine the same. Do you understand? The ambience is different. Even if everything is same, the characters are different. You don't ever have the same couple or different couples acting the same way. It's impossible. And one thing that directs what I shoot is I'm looking for the relationship in these 2 people, between them. Even when I do pre-wedding, the relationship between you is what will determine the poses I give you. So I don't have some mood board, you must do like this. No. I'm watching you and I'm looking at you. Right from when I started taking wedding pictures or bridal, I'm looking at her. I'm looking at what is different. So when you see my post, you see what is peculiar. Do you understand? So this image, that's Laolu. and Nosen. Fantastic people, beautiful people. I know Mrs. Mayaki, who is Nosen's parent. Fantastic people. So when I covered this event, I started seeing sincere love, so much strong chemistry between these two. I was looking forward. I got my lights ready. As soon as this smoke came out, everything. See, it doesn't take so much to photograph sincere love. You begin to struggle when it's not real. You almost use their head to knock each other. Must they, if they are sincere, the kind of love that you want to photograph, it will just come easy. So that is the reason I love that shot forever. Yeah, you can still see the love. I still met them recently at a restaurant. Fantastic people. So that's not a wedding. That was what I call my personal project during COVID. So when life was shut down, when events was shut down, when everybody was restricted to their houses, I was on my bed one day and I started hearing voice in my ears. If you do not make your name resonate in your client's heart, they will forget you by the time life returned to normal. So I sat on that bed, I started remembering, what am I going to do? It says to stay relevant as photonymy is to instill your name in the thought of your clients. I was still thinking, do what will make people speak about photonymy. No event anymore. And I started thinking. All of a sudden, I just had do cultural photography. Photograph people how, by default, they dress in their communities. Where will I start down? Then I was ready. My heart was ready. And the following day, see, I've told you this, and I will repeat again. As a man thinking his heart, so you see, as soon as you have engaged your thoughts, and your thought line syncs with what you want in life, everything that will make that thought come into fruition, except you are not attentive enough. So the following day I was on my street. No, we're not going out. Then I saw this lady passed. I was talking to a friend that I was talking with. And I said, she's so hairy. Is this your hair? He said, yes, sir. I said, where are you from? She said, She said, the Doma. I said, oh, you people that wear black and white. He said, no, sir. That is Steve. Idoma wears black and red. And I said, okay, if you people wear black and red, it will denote some things. Yes. That's so. What do black and red represent? It said red represents love. Black represents burial shroud. So, excuse me? How do you carry in your body representation of love and head of burial ground, burial tomb? That's what it means. I just heard in my ears. Now that is what you'll be exposing if you go into this. So you are starting with her. And I said, can I make you a model? He said, no, sir, I'm not a model. I'm a hairdresser. I said, no. I want to photograph you as an Idoma girl. He said, I will pay you. He said, okay, sir. I said, so how do we get this? He said, she'll go and rent. And so she told me how much. I gave it to her. I called my vendors as usual, the makeup and all of that. I was introduced to a certain guy who is a creative makeup artist. I can't remember her name now. His name. Then Zubi has always been my friend. So we called. Of course, I paid them. So we came to the office. We did this shoot. Again, it was done in my studio. You know, Kayode, you don't have to go to any vegetation anymore. Just be sure of what you want. Get these images, fuse them. I have unusual hands in my office. Blessed hands. I don't know how to do this, but my staff that I pay, they will deliver. Mine is to direct them. Theirs is to deliver. And we did it. And shock, sir. The following week, I got a call from Dubai. And the voice said, Dubai Expo 2020 that the only image that is missing on that marquee is Idoma girl. That I just saw your Idoma. He said no photographer has ever done anything professional for Idoma girl. So I had that record. I thought about it and I did it. And so she bought that image. Every excellent mind has a place in Stardom. No competition, no battle amongst creatives. Just be excellent in your own lane and you will get to your goal in life.
Wow, this is one of the most amazing 1 hour plus that I will spend this year. Thank you so much, Mr. Korede Olabanji, also known as Photonimi. This is valuable time.
Thank you.
I forgot to warn you at the beginning of the show that this is going to blow your mind, and thank God it has. It's blown my mind. And here's to say that whatever it is that you're doing, it's the heart. Whether it's videography, whether it's photography, you can see from not just his examples, but his own life and how he operates, that everything is from a heart, and a good heart at that. One thing I'm going to tell you, you already know you can't watch this video once. This is a masterclass that you have to listen to or watch time and time again. I want to thank you, Mr. Korede Olabanji, Photonimi himself, for allowing us into your space on the Lekki-Ekpe corridor. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing impact. And we pray that God will continue to lead, guide, and of course, increase you.
Amen.
And
Thank you
so
much.
to all of you who are watching, we say thank you for your time. I'm Korede Olabanji. Goodbye.
You have a chance to win a SONY A7IV camera with a 28-70mm kit lens in the Camera Lounge Season 2. Here's all you have to do. Subscribe to the Camera Joint and Mabike Productions YouTube channels. Leave a comment describing what you learned from each episode. Mention a creative icon you'd like interviewed on the show. Camera Joint will announce a winner at a Raffle Draw Live event in June 2023. The Camera Lounge, powered by Camera Joint, supported by Sony Alpha Nigeria and produced by Mabike Productions. Don't miss it.
Okay, I'm with my best friend. I'm sure you guys know already. My best friends are always the Sony cameras, and this is the A7R5, recently just dropped by Sony Alpha. It's a 60 megapixel camera, and you know my favorite thing about the Sony is the autofocus system. It has an improved autofocus recognition. You can actually save, you know, the subject's face on the camera, and then it follows through anywhere the subject goes through. Your focus is intact. You know, in terms of video, it has 8K at 24p and then it shoots 4K at 60p. The videos are amazing. I call it a hybrid master because you can actually use it for photography and video at the same time. It shoots 10-bit 422 video options and also includes S-Log3 and Cinetone. It's a very easy way of shooting and getting your images ready for your client. And then in terms of raw files, because I know you're going to be saying it's a 60 megapixels, in terms of raw files, you can actually reduce it and have 26 megapixels and also have 15 megapixels. My best friend is the Sony A7R5. In terms of technology, it's a great camera. In terms of build quality, it's amazing. Ergonomics is amazing. The way, you know, the grip is, it's quite very sturdy and all. Sony camera is my best option. I don't know about you.